Thanks for tuning in again. I'm the CEO and president of Shardae Scott over Scott Center Observation, Treatment, and Transition. We are here with my oldest son, Eric Scott. Welcome.
It's glad to be on the show.
Glad to be on the show. Okay, so as you guys know, I have two sickle cell warriors, ages 7 and 8. Eric is my oldest son. So Eric, tell the audience how old you are. 12 years old. So I almost have a teenager this year. So we are two of us are gonna have a candid conversation, just about him being sibling of ours, what that looks like for him, how it makes him feel, all these whatever he cares to share with the audience today. But this is just shining a light on how sickles impact the household. So Eric, when Emery was born, you were 4 years old, right? I know you used to ask Dad and I a lot of questions about why he's experiencing the things that he was experiencing, right? Now that you have kind of an idea or more experience now of what he's experiencing, living with him and having experience with sickle cell, how are you managing? What are some of the things that you do? You feel stressed sometimes? No, not at all. You never feel any stress. You can be honest with me.
No.
So to the audience, tell them, like, what is the typical things that you are most conscious of, like, or aware of with them having sickle cell disease?
Them being real tired or having yellowish eyes, or they're saying their back are hurting more than once in a day after we give them eating pad. So those are like few signs that I can tell.
Okay, let's back up. So you threw me up a little bit personally. So are you saying typically you are looking or you're listening to the complaints that they're making?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you didn't say it. So I was just trying to make sure the audience understood what we were talking about here. So, okay, so that's some of the things that you look out for. So when they're in a crisis, what are some of the things that you do to help them?
I get them some water. Try to adjust their eating pad or whatever they're trying to lay on or whatever, and I give them some cold rags on their head, cause
You do cold or warm?
cold.
Really?
Cause one time Ed was saying he was hot, so he said we should put a cold rag of water on his head and wring the water out. Just put it on his head.
I didn't know that. So did it work?
I mean, it kind of did something. I guess he wasn't saying he was hot anymore, so.
Now, is that why he was on the eating pad?
No, it's because his back was hurting.
So you put warm. Okay. I swear, I'm like so lost right now. So you're saying you put a cold rag on his head because his back was
No,
hurting?
not his back. He was feeling hot, and we took him over the cover and stuff.
Oh, so he was warm in general. Okay, so as I told you, these conversations are authentic. This is literally how we are in our house. We have conversations like this, and I'm just trying to make it make sense. I'm sure I'm understanding and following what it is that you guys do. So, okay. So talk to me about, I want you to be very honest, Eric. See, Eric is my oldest son, so he feels that he has the responsibility to take care of everyone. And he does not show his vulnerability or really express the things that may or may not bother him. So I'm going to keep reiterating to him that it's okay to be authentic. It's okay to show the best version of yourself, eat whatever that may look like. So honestly, do you have concerns, or are there things that worry you about your siblings having sickle cell?
If they have to go to the hospital now, that might worry me.
And why is that?
Because they don't really like shots and stuff, so they really do have to stick on the medicine.
Mm-hmm. But even in some cases, they can take their medicine all the time, and they still can end up in the hospital. Like, we know we're in the Midwest, so weather is drastic sometimes. Sometimes it can be hot, sometimes it can be cold. It just depends. But that could trigger them ending up in the hospital. As you know, Evans had a sickle cell crisis. That was his very first one. He's on Oxbryta, he's on hydroxyurea, takes elderberry, vitamins, all these things. But the weather was a tribute to him experiencing a pain episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I say all that to say, okay, so you worry about them ending up in a hospital, right? Outside of the shots, are there any other concerns of them being in a hospital that worries you?
Um, you guys having to stay up there overnight, and that's very worrisome too.
Yeah, us having to alter our schedules and things like that. Yeah. And this is where I say sickle cell impacts the entire household. I'm having this conversation with you today, EJ, because I think I have a lot of followers, especially on like Facebook. I think a lot of times they are not aware of just how that impacts you. Because a lot of people hear me talk about Emory, and it's not to say that I don't talk about you, but because I'm advocating for sickle cell, I think people miss the piece of like, well, what about EJ and how is he taking this, or how is it impacting him? I know at one point, you're so worried that it impact what was going on at school for you, like to just stay kind of focused to a certain extent because you were so worried about your brothers. Remember the time they were in the hospital together? It was a while ago, but they both were hospitalized at the same time. You had to stay at your grandmother's. Do you recall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you remember how that made you feel?
No, I do not.
You don't? Yeah, it was a while ago. So let's reel it back then. Let's talk about um, just how awesome you are as a brother. Like, I see it every day. Your teachers even say how great you are with them, because there's times where you've come into the class and Emery may be asleep or it's hard to get him up, and she said just the way your mannerism and how you cater to their needs as a big brother, like that's really amazing. I had a segment with your brothers where they pretty much thanked you for being a big brother to them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like it's your obligation to do things for them? Like, honestly, do you feel obligated?
No, not really.
No.
No.
So what do you feel? Tell me. I want to hear your feelings. I would like to know, how does EJ feel?
I mean,
Come on, the audience is watching. They want to know how EJ feels.
I really just feel like it was just, you just gotta do it sometimes. You just gotta do what you gotta do.
You got to do what you got to do. So, do you ever feel like Dad and I like neglect any of your needs?
No, not really.
Not really.
Nope.
Do you feel supported?
Mm-hmm.
You do. Um, all the time. You do. And I don't know why I'm saying it like I'm shocked, but I guess I just want to make sure. Like, I know And you're a very, very intelligent young man. And I'm not just saying that because you're my son, but most of the viewers that know you know, like you're super ahead of your time. We make jokes about you being a old man, but ultimately, like you're super, just like such a caring and compassionate person. And I just want to make sure like your needs are also being met, or the things that bother you are also being met. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people in the audience that are watching, and they may be siblings of sickle cell warriors. What advice do you have for those brothers or sisters that have siblings that have sickle cell?
Okay. My advice is, as much as they keep annoying you, or if they don't, just do what you can for them if they're in a crisis, they're just not feeling too well.
Now, you say that, so now I'm gonna flip it. Do you feel like Dad and I do a good job of making them do things for you when they are feeling better?
They do it. Yeah, it'd be an alright job.
It's okay. We can push it a little bit more. Okay, that's something we just have to work on. But I say that to say, yes, if you are a sibling of a warrior, you know, you may have to step up and do some tasks just to help the family out because once again, sickle cell impacts everybody in the household. However, when they are feeling well, it should be reciprocated and the favor should be returned. So rather it's EJ making them, make them go make you something like what are some of the things that they do?
I made one time I had made them what did I make them do? So many things. Okay. One time I had to make me a PB&J. It was alright. They didn't get all the jelly everywhere, but it was decent. It was a decent sandwich.
You telling me you made them make you something to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Have you ever made them something while they were sick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I made chicken noodle soup and chicken nuggets.
Okay. Cool. So I know you play sports as well, just like your brothers. When you guys are outside, do you happen to be like more conscious about like that surrounding? Like typically how is it when you guys are outside? Because I'm usually not with you. I know you guys usually play out there with the other kids in the neighborhood, like football and stuff like that. So are you more conscious of your brothers or like talk to the audience? Tell them. I'm trying to.
Well, when we're playing football, we got to be like more delicate with them because we really don't want them to get hurt or anything, so they don't go into no pain crisis. So we usually do 2-hand tap or rap for the little kids that be playing with us.
Mm-hmm.
Or when the weather's bad, I try to let them go outside, but I tell them to go back and go warm up for a minute to come out.
Okay, so in increments. Okay, so that was kind of what I was looking for to kind of see, because we are in the Midwest, the weather changes. It's not consistent. We have cold and hot. I mean, yesterday it was freezing. Today it's like 41 degrees and it's sunny. So we know typically they have on hats, gloves, they're dressed from head to toe pretty much the whole year. Summer we just have to be a little bit more aware because it's hotter.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're making sure they have water, popsicles, all those things to keep them cool. But essentially lots and lots and lots of water. Um, but with that being said, I feel like EJ does a really great job as the big brother. Even Emery tries to test you from time to time. That's just that little kid syndrome. But I think overall, you do a really, really good job with your brothers. Um, so you're telling me you don't have any emotions or any thoughts?
Well, no, I do. I be worried sometimes when they be in the hospital.
But that's it. Is it because you feel like we kind of set the bar? Like we make them do stuff too. You guys wash your own clothes. Yep. You guys, we make you at least cook what about once a week, maybe. Um, and not just you. I mean, granted, you do the dishes, but we make them like the sweeping and things like that. Even if it's not the best, they still have to do it. So I think creating that normalcy in the household really kind of helps with making sure everybody is accountable. Do you feel like the responsibilities are divided equally to a certain extent, or no?
Kind of middle with that one.
You in the middle? Okay, well, talk to me. Tell me about it.
I feel like to a certain extent it's all right, but I feel like they can do just a little bit more.
So explain to me a little bit more as far as what?
I don't know. Maybe maybe helping me wipe off the stove or the counter or anything. But other than that, they do all right. They do all right.
Okay. Well, we know. We definitely can try that out.
Or clean a bathroom. Actually clean a bathroom.
I don't know, EJ. They can clean certain spots. I feel like you should do the what you call it with the products. I
usually put them down, then just wipe it.
Okay, that I can see, but you already know how I feel. But eventually, you gotta remember you're also the oldest. I was the oldest child too, so a lot of responsibility on me. But however, I definitely can see where we can incorporate them doing a little bit more. But it's not all on you. I mean, we all, the thing is, we're supposed to work as a family and do these things together. So, hearing you say that, I'm hearing you, and I'm going to figure out ways to implement more for them to do without, kind of getting hands on things that they shouldn't be touching, so to speak. Because they are 7 and 8, although they act like they teenagers someday. But I get what you're saying. I do. So yes, like I said, these conversations are very authentic. Sometimes I forget EJ is only 12 years old because the way that we just sit and converse and we have discussion about a lot of topics outside of sickle cell, right, EJ?
Yeah.
So I just think it's important to be very transparent in situations, whether your child has a chronic disease or not. But I feel like in our household, we have to be upfront about everything because there are so many moving pieces within the sickle cell realm. I just don't want things to get lost in translation. So we take time. I mean, even when we eating dinner, we take that time to like, hey, I'm like, well, express to me how you feel today and what's going on with you and what is that what I do?
Yeah.
But it could be a social worker in me. I don't know. I'm always asking people, what's wrong? How are you feeling? What can we do to do better? And I know I probably drive you nuts with it, don't I? I do. Well, that's my job. My job is to ensure that you are getting what you need, because I will not fail as a mom in making sure that your feelings, because they matter to me, no different from Emery, no different from Ed, and one limb is here, one limb is here. I'm really heavy on And you hear Dad and I talk about like stuff like this all the time. I'm really big on having conversations with you guys and like really expressing your feelings. I think it's important for especially young black men to be vulnerable and to express how they feel. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, because we have all of these people who have all this aggression because they have not been able to express how they feel. But you, on the other hand, you probably get tired of me because I'm always asking you, how are you feeling today? What's going on? You know, because I care, you know, and I always gonna care because you're my son. So that's what matters, right?
Yeah.
So so since we're on that topic, what is there? Okay, let's start with the good first. And not to say that there's bad, but let's start with the good. So, as your mom, what is one thing that you love that I do?
Oh, the way your chicken is made is so good.
Now he went straight to the food. I
Your fried chicken is so good.
Oh my God, he went straight to the food. So, as you can tell, Emery and Evan and EJ are definitely brothers because you know that is the same thing they said. They went straight to the food. I said, "What is one thing that you love that I do for you?" And he said, "When you cook." So my boys are greedy, obviously. But no, sir. Okay, so outside of the food,
I guess the loving nature that you bring and the caringness.
Yeah. Do your friends, do they talk about like how their parents are? Are their parents caring and loving?
They don't talk about that.
They don't.
Oh,
what y'all be talking about?
Nothing. We be having fun.
As kids should, but I don't know. It's a different world now. Y'all got TikTok. Do you have TikTok?
Nope.
You got any social media?
Nope.
You want social media?
Nope.
See, I told y'all he beyond his years. I don't know. 12 years old. I've never met one 12-year-old personally outside of him who doesn't want a social media or anything. That's cool. So what are you into?
Well, me and my uncle and my auntie used to play with Legos together. I'm still into Legos, but I don't know about them no more.
My auntie, what, 16 now?
Yeah.
So she may not be, may or may not be. What are some things that you're into right now? Like
Legos, I guess movie watching and shows.
Yeah, you and your dad, y'all share a lot of that. Y'all watch a lot of different shows together. A lot of times I feel out the loop because I'm like, I don't know what any of this stuff is. But you also like a lot of history facts and things like that. I think that's our connection, that we're so like research kind of based, and we like to know about the history of things and how it works and all those components or whatever. So have you narrowed it down? Like, I know you and I were talking about different things that you're into as far as like what fields you might want to go into. So what you narrow it down to?
Maybe astronomy, maybe, and physics. I don't know about physics. Maybe.
You like science?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. What schools were you looking at? I know we were doing, you, Dad, and your brothers and I were we were doing the college tours. And we gotta get back to that. But have you figured out a couple schools that you may be interested in?
Definitely.
If you don't have an answer today, it's fine. You're 12, so you got a couple years. But I know this is something you and we discuss, we talk about, outside, like I said, outside of sickle cell, we have our own conversations and the things that interest you. And I know as a warrior mom of multiple children, I like to make sure I'm tailoring things to you. So, like I said, this is the Let's Talk Sickle Cell Siblings edition. And yes, we talked a little bit about some of the things that you have done for your brothers, but I want the audience to know who you are too. So I know. So is Morehouse still something that you're interested in, or you kind of?
I really don't know.
You're not sure?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I switched schools quite a few times prior to making a final decision. So sometimes that's just how it is, you know. Um, but yeah. So is there anything you want to tell the audience before we dip out? Before we end our conversation? Let them know who Eric is. Come on, stand up. Tell them who Eric Scott is. Let them know. Tell them who you are. Like, you know, who you plan to be. What you plan. Tell them, like, 10 years from now, I'm going to be this person. Or
I really don't know what the future has hold.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna do my best.
You know what? And I respect that. Because your best is good enough. Your best is good enough. It is everything. I feel like to me, that's all you have ever done is exemplify excellence. You and your brothers, the way you carry yourself and the way you handle business. I mean, I have no complaints. Most 12-year-olds are giving their parents a whirlwind of problems, and I'm fortunate to say I don't have those issues. Um, so I know whatever you put your hand on or whatever you put your mind to, your best will be good enough. And he yearning, making me tired. Well, thank you all for tuning in. It was just a small conversation with my oldest son here, EJ. Um, there will be plenty of talk with other sickle cell warriors, parents. We got people from legislation coming on some of these calls coming up, or talk, coming up. I am just looking forward to you guys learning a lot on this here YouTube channel. I wanted to use this platform to just educate, have conversations with people within this community, how it impacts the families, how it's impacting that individual, just a whirlwind of information and what we plan to do with this information. And everything that I learn in having these talks is to definitely make me a more well-rounded social worker, but also as a doctoral student, utilize a lot of these different talks to see how I want to implement certain things into my scope of practice here at Scott. So once again, if you are just tuning in, Scott is for Scott Center for Observation, Treatment, and Transition. And it was influenced by my children. We know that pediatric and adult care are treated so differently in sickle cell patients. So I wanted to be a liaison between that transition period, and that is exactly what Scott intends to do. Once again, this is EJ, my oldest, my biggest inspiration, the one who got me to go back to school with just a simple question of, do you remember the question you asked?
Nope.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
He said, "Where's your degree, Mom?" He was 5 years old. And what did I tell you? Remember that?
No, I really don't.
He playing like he don't. I specifically told him, I promise you, he was 5 years old. I said, by the time you graduate from first grade, I'll have my degree. And I did, and I continue to go on and on. And now we're here at this doctoral level. He's 12 years old. I will be finished before he goes to high school. So next year I will be complete.
On Evan's birthday.
Around, yep. So May of next year, I will be done with school forever.
Don't go back.
Forever. I mean, I probably do like certifications, but as far as like schooling, I will be done. So that's exciting. And then focus all of my attention on EJ. Because he'll be getting ready for high school. So he's in the 6th grade this year. Next year he's in the 7th and then 8th. So we have a lot to do. But this is the transitioning. Everything is a process. So as I say, I never want one child to feel like somebody else is getting more attention than the other. I think it's important to try to spread that love equally, even though sometimes it can be challenging. I think it's important to spread that love equally. So EJ may need me in other areas that the other two do not, and vice versa. So just ensuring as parents that we are doing our diligence to push our children to be the best version of themselves. You heard out of this. He said, I'm just gonna do my best. So obviously I feel like I'm doing a little bit all right. What you think? Yeah. Thank you guys again for tuning into the Let's Talk Sickle Cell series. This is the Siblings edition today, and we will have more coming up. And I look forward to you guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Scott Center OH. And we also have our Facebook, which is Scott Center for Observation, Treatment, and Transition. And then if you're on Instagram, it's Scott Center OH. We'll see you guys. That's a mouthful, right? We'll see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.